Hello and welcome back to the Trempealeau County Sheriff's Update. I'm your host Kevin Bargender, and today I'm joined by Trempealeau County Sheriff Brett Semingson. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you for having me again today. I'm excited to talk about some of these things that we're going to be mentioning here.
Yeah, so what are some updates? You wanted to talk a little bit today about the dispatch center.
Yes, I kind of like to highlight what our dispatch center is all about. I don't know if the community really knows what all goes on in a dispatch center. So I'll talk a little bit today about some of the things that we do there, the calls that come in. The Trempealeau County Dispatch Center dispatches for all public service agencies within Trempealeau County, including municipal police departments, fire, and EMS and ambulances, all within Trempealeau County here. And they even dispatch Tri-State Ambulance out of La Crosse area. We even dispatch out of our dispatch center for any time they're coming into our county for services needed. So in a typical year, our dispatch center receives nearly 60,000 phone calls. And not all of them are calls for service. Some of them are redirected to different agencies within the courthouse, but most of them are calls for service, whether it be in the county or in the cities and villages within the county. So, so we have 9 dispatchers. There are 2 on all the time and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and including nights and holidays, of course. We have to be ready to respond at any given moment to any emergency within the county. They dispatch our officers, our firefighters, like I said. They're often providing crucial information for our deputies as they respond, to keep them safe, to let them know if there's any unsafe conditions going on, or if activities are current or if they've happened in the past. It's all crucial information that they pass out to the first responders to ensure their safety. So we've been using the 911 system here in Trempealeau County for a number of years now, and there's some upgrades going on with the 911 system. The current system is an analog system dating back 15 years or more, and analog was great at the time, but it has some limitations. So we are currently in the middle of a grant cycle where the Sheriff's Office received a grant to update its GIS mapping as well as the 911 system. And it's called Next Gen 911. So if you hear that term, that's what that's all about. What Next Gen 911 does is it turns it into a digital platform and allows for the receiving of more information, such as text messages and pictures and videos from somebody who's actually at the scene of an event. You can imagine the importance of that type of information that we're getting. So we're in the middle of, we still haven't moved the dispatch center into the new building yet. And part of the reason is because of the implementation of that grant. The equipment is all here, and we're getting ready for the install here shortly. And once that happens, then we'll be into that new era of dispatch. So some other things in the dispatch center that are digitally compliant to the era. One is called ProQA. And I don't know if many people know, but our dispatchers, when they take a call of a medical situation, they have the software pops up on the screen and it guides them through the questioning to make sure we ask all the right questions. And it also provides a platform for dispatchers to give life-saving information out to a caller, such as it'll walk them through a CPR, or it'll walk them through how to control a bleed or a puncture wound. It's the conditions are unlimited as to what ProQA will help our dispatchers try to walk the callers through until help arrives. They all have to be certified in that, and they also have to do an annual recertification to keep up to date, as it is such an evolving program, but very critical in the first moments after an emergency occurs. Another thing going on there, you may have heard of Nixle. Nixle is a reverse notification system we've been using for a few years now. It has a number of applications, but in the dispatch world, we can use that to notify anybody who's registered on the Nixle platform of severe weather, criminal activity that may be going on that we want to get the message out for. It can be used for a missing person to get the information out for, and it's a very quick way for dispatchers to send information out to those who are registered. And it can be a geographical area that a person defines when they go on and register for this. And a unique thing about it, or a neat thing about it, is, if I'm registered in Nixle from right here in Trempealeau County, but I drive, say I'm driving down to Missouri and Oklahoma City and to Texas or whatever, if I get into an area where there's severe weather or something where the public needs to know and they've pushed out a message there, as soon as I drive into this map that they defined, I'll get the notification anywhere in the United States. So I encourage everybody to go to nixle.com and take a look at it, register it if they feel so inclined. And there's been some information being pushed out on Facebook lately about that as well. So something else with the dispatch center in the digital world is called Rapid SOS and Prepared Live. These are two web-based softwares that work together to help identify the exact position of a 911 caller. When you used to call from a cell phone prior to this, it would triangulate off of two different towers and try to get an approximate location. And Rapid SOS uses GPS mapping to give a precise location. So that is something we're using now to enhance the capabilities of our dispatch center. So, that's kind of the neat things going on there now. We do have a hiring process going on. We're currently full staffed if everybody was off field training, and that's a first in a couple of years. So we're sitting pretty good and feeling good about that. I'll knock on wood a little bit that it stays like that. So that's kind of what's going on in our dispatch center and how we're there and keeping up to date to help the people that we serve here.
Awesome. And we've got the 4th of July coming up here pretty soon, Independence Day. Everybody's doing fireworks, it seems like, this time of year. So what are some safety tips or measures you think people should follow?
Sure. Well, I'll talk a little bit about the statutes and the regulations of fireworks, because that's an important piece for people to know, because there are legal ways to shoot off fireworks, even though it generally seems like it's a banned idea. There are legal ways to go about shooting fireworks. And the first thing I'll do is I'll give a definition of basically what fireworks are. And fireworks are anything manufactured, processed, or packaged for exploding, emitting sparks, or combustion, which really does not have any other purpose. Like a shotgun shell has another purpose, or a flare that you see us using along that could technically be a fireworks, but it has another purpose. So fireworks are any of those things that don't really have another purpose, and that's what's regulated by the state of Wisconsin. Statute 167.10 is the state statute that I would encourage everybody to go look at it. It's fairly straightforward and easy to read, and it's good information if you intend to shoot fireworks off during the holiday season. But it says that no person may possess or use fireworks without a user's permit from the mayor of the city, the president of the village, or the chairperson of the town in which the possession or use is to occur, or from a person designated by a mayor, president, or chairperson to issue that user's permit. So there is a way to get a permit. A person would have to apply to their local municipality for a permit, and that's governed by statute as well. And one thing that municipality may do is they may require that you provide proof of insurance to get a permit. I don't know that they all do, but it's possible. So be prepared to have to show proof of insurance if you're going to try to get a fireworks permit. Chapter 167.10 paren 5 is what gives the authority of towns and villages and cities to enact their own ordinances as well. And that's where the sheriff's office can get more involved, or even your city and village police officers can get more involved and maybe not be so bound by the black and white of a state statute. They can create their own ordinance. And Chapter 9 of the Trempealeau County Code of Ordinances is what the sheriff's office would use for our ordinance. And that ordinance is in play in any municipality that does not have their own ordinance regarding it. So it's defined as same as a state statute. So if you want to know what fireworks are and what you can use and how to permit, you would still go to the state statute. But it does have a little bit stiffer penalty associated with it. Both the state statute and the county ordinance has a fine of up to $1,000 if you violate the state statute or the county ordinance. But the county ordinance goes so far as to say not more than 30 days in jail as well. So I don't know how egregious, and really disrespectful you would have to be to get a jail sentence. But if the county ordinance is in place, that is a possibility. So we respond to, I would say in an average year, and this is just a guess, that we would probably respond to anywhere from 10 to 20 or more fireworks calls in a July 4th season. We don't respond with a hammer down like we're gonna issue the biggest ticket, and of course we would never recommend jail, I don't think. We want to educate more than anything. We want people to be safe out there and using their fireworks. We want them to do it the legal way, so that when we respond, we can help them maybe still have their event, but in a safe way. So another caveat of the state statute is, as a parent or a caregiver, if you allow your minor child to use fireworks, there's could be fine of up to $1,000 for the parent or caregiver for allowing that as well. So, and then we have a number of municipal sponsored fireworks shows in the community. I think Blair has one, Pleasantville has one, Strum has one, Trempealeau used to, and they may have it throughout the year too, not just at the July 4th weekend. But one thing to note is, just because you go to that event and fireworks are being legally displayed, doesn't mean that a person who's there can use their own fireworks. You really can't, because you don't have the permit. But there are some sorts of fireworks that are legal and don't need to be permitted, and sparklers, the things that the kids all want to play with, those are legal. The little canisters with a rope attached or a string attached where you pop it and confetti comes out. Party poppers, yep, those are legal. There's some those little white snaps, they call them, where kids might throw them on the blacktop and they pop. That's actually a fireworks, but it's small enough to where it's legal. And the snakes, the black caps where they light it with a lighter and it grows into what's supposed to be a snake, all perfectly legal stuff, as long as it doesn't self-propel or explode. So, and even those twisters where you light them and they really twist really fast, but they don't leave the ground, those are legal. So stuff like that you can use on your own and wouldn't need a permit for, and don't have to worry about getting called in for. So some safety things, as you're using fireworks, make sure that when you're lighting them off, you're a distance from those who are watching you. They're really unpredictable. A tube could tip over after you light it. Once they leave that tube, you don't necessarily know which direction they're going to go. And so you really want to have that distance between who's ever lighting them off and the crowd that's watching them. I would have a fire extinguisher handy. I've been to fireworks shows where fires have started very close to the whole, you can imagine they have these whole big bricks set up ready to go in order, but all of a sudden if we have a fire, they're all going to go off at the same time. It happens, and you really want to be prepared with fire safety as well. And some of those that light them off even use firefighter turnout gear to protect themselves as well. So, make sure you're doing it legally with a permitting process, but also make sure you're being safe when you do it as well. There's a number of measures that a person can do to keep themselves and their spectators safe.
Yeah, I've even heard of just doing one at a time. It's a lot safer that way instead of lighting off multiple at once.
Right.
Keeping a bucket of water nearby as well, just in case. So, then obviously, pointing the fireworks away from the crowd, and that way they can see them better anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you get more enjoyment when you don't have to worry about sparks raining down on you. So, if you practice safety, you'll have a much more enjoyable show as well. So.
Do you have any new developments or public service announcements from the Trempealeau County Sheriff's Department?
Well, a couple things I'll mention is that it is summertime, and we are in the height of community festivals going on, and a number of larger events, such as the county fair coming up here in mid-July. Is a pretty big-sized event for our county. They have a number of things going on there that draw big crowds. It's in the middle of the hot summer, so you want to make sure that that you're hydrating yourself and taking care of those who are with you when you're attending those events. But know that you can attend them safely, because we have law enforcement presence at the county fair. Most municipal celebrations, they have, they've got their law enforcement presence as well. And we're there to keep the communities and the participants safe in those events. And sometimes it can be construed that we're the downers of the situation, and we want to make sure that nobody has fun. And it's quite the contrary. When you see law enforcement at these events, it's so that we can ensure that those who are attending can have fun and be safe and feel safe as well while they're doing it. Ashley for the Arts is coming up here in August. That's a huge event for Trempealeau County. There'll be more people there over a weekend than the entire county population. So we are working with the City of Arcadia and Ashley for the Arts planners. We're working very closely with them to make sure that we have a good security plan in place and people able to respond and direct traffic. A big thing there is, give yourself time. When you're going to attend events like this that are larger, where you might have to find a place to park, give yourself time so you're not rushing down the road. And there are transportation opportunities for off-site parking for the Ashley for the Arts. Plan ahead, know the event, and just give yourself plenty of time to get there so that you're not rushing and putting yourself in danger. So. Of course, we have road construction season going on as well. We're not immune to that, just like any other community. It seems like this year we have, especially in the north, we have our share. Highway 10 from all the way across the northern end of the county is under some kind of partial lane closures or full road closures. You can't get through Osseo on Highway 10; it's fully closed. And from 10 all the way to or from Osseo all the way to Oliva. There are single lane closures during the day, so again, make sure you either give yourself plenty of time or plan alternate routes. I believe County Road S in the county here is under construction. The City of Arcadia still is undergoing some major upgrades downtown, and Highway 95 is closed there. So again, pre-planning is important for those types of things. We have lakes and rivers. We don't have big lakes like a lot of counties, but we have a number of small lakes and rural ponds where we're constantly worried about kids and swimming and tragic events that could happen there. And the Mississippi. We have a portion of the Mississippi River where we don't necessarily provide primary services out there, but we provide secondary services to the DNR. And this time of year, there's a big uptick in the number of boaters and users of those bodies of waters. And wear your life jackets and have a means of communication if you should need help. And constantly know where your kids are when you're around bodies of water like that. And this even pertains to your home swimming pools. A lot of that stuff is in full swing right now, and it's easy to lose track of our kids, and just make sure that we're being diligent and knowing where they are at all times, so that we don't have those tragedies, and they have happened here. So that's kind of a rundown of the big things going on in the county during the summer months, especially around the July 4th holiday. So
yeah, and I really feel the road construction. It's everywhere from here to Eau Claire and south of here. Yep. So I always make sure I really slow down when I see the construction workers out there during the daytime or nighttime. Sometimes they're out there at night as well. Yep.
Yeah, especially in the summer, daylight is almost till 9 o'clock. So or sometimes they work at night to avoid the heavy traffic. There's plenty of alternate routes that a person could take. We have some great scenery on our back roads in the county, and if you can find a town or a county road that bypasses a state highway, I highly encourage you to do that, just to take in the scenery if nothing else, and don't be in such a hurry. So
yeah, any other summer safety tips or suggestions?
As always, we got more traffic on the highways in the summer months. One thing I always preached was, yes, I worry about my driving, or I would tell my kids, you worry about your driving and be safe driving, but more importantly, keep your eyes on the road and worry about everybody else's driving as well. Because defensive driving is very important, and it's probably more important to pay attention as to what other drivers are doing. Look down the road and watch for that car that may be deviating, and give yourself time to react. After midnight, around 2 o'clock in the morning, that's the most significant time when there are impaired drivers on the road. So if you're driving at those hours, be extra vigilant when you're driving. When you're coming to T intersections, don't assume that everybody's going to stop at a stop sign. People out there are running stop signs accidentally or for thrills all the time. So as you approach intersections, look both ways, and always be paying attention to what other drivers are doing on top of what you're doing. So,
is there anything else you want to share with the public today?
Well, that covers kind of the big events and topics going on here. Within the sheriff's office, we're hiring in the jail. We have an opening there now, a couple of them, one for a sergeant and one for a jailer. We do have a list going. We're not accepting applications right now, but we're actively hiring off of current application processes. For patrol, we're down a couple of deputies right now, and we will be doing a hiring process here shortly. And dispatch, like I said, if you see application processes for that, those are very rewarding careers. And it's not just about driving a squad car on a highway, and thinking that could be a cool job, but if you want a rewarding job and want to truly serve the public or want to help people in their time of need, dispatch and jail are very important jobs as well, and can be very rewarding. And they offer competitive salaries. I think Trempealeau County benefit package is second to none, and it can be a great place to work, and it has been for me, and I would advocate it for anybody. So watch the sheriff's page for any opportunities coming up. We would love to have you, and and most anybody is capable to learn how to do this job, and don't let the technology, or don't let the possibilities of violence or whatever deter you, because while they do happen, they're rare, and it can, like I said, it can be a very rewarding career. So watch for things going on within the sheriff's office or other departments within the county, and if you'd be inclined to become part of a great team of people here, we'd certainly love to have you. So that kind of wraps up in a nutshell what's happening in this summer with the sheriff's office and things going on around there, that I haven't already talked about in a previous show as well. So,
well, I'd like to thank again Sheriff Brett Semingson for joining us for the Trempealeau County Sheriff's Update. I'm your host, Kevin Bargender, and we'll see you next time.